Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition to Understanding Your Health. I'm Todd Scarborough, along with Dr. Tom Butler. Tom, glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
Yes, and we want to talk about, Tom, that naturally, with this show, we try to give people basic health information. As you know, the body is a very elaborate machine. It's got a lot of processes going on. But the one thing, when it comes to basic health maintenance, there's pretty simple philosophies out there. I mean, as far as the way to keep the body healthy, Tom, is pretty simple. And when you look at what's afflicting the body and what really hurts Americans today is the inflammatory process. And when you think about inflammation, most people think about hitting their thumb with a hammer. That's inflammation, certainly, and it gets red and it's swollen and it hurts. But there's a different type of inflammation. Inflammation can affect the body, especially when it's rampant. Talk a little bit about the inflammatory process and how it affects the body in a negative way, not just hitting your thumb with a hammer, but how that inflammation, when it gets chronic, can cause problems in the body.
Well, I know your show is going to deal with different levels of people, so I'll try to skim over the stuff that's less than exciting, but I do need to touch on just a few things.
Yes.
And we'll learn some new words today. So,
as we always do on the show.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. So anyway, just think of the body as trillions of cells, and besides hitting your thumb or straining your back or whatever, you have a predisposition to infection, inflammation, and I know this is a show that's going to stay fairly light, and you're funny, and I love to be laughing and have a good time, but this is serious enough you're going to be able to affect, with your inflammation, you can not necessarily control whether you're going to get the disease, but you can control the extent of cancer.
Severity of
Alzheimer's.
it, basically.
Yes. Cancer, arthritis, Alzheimer's. If heart disease. But if we just stop there, Todd, we could save
80% of the population.
We could save somebody's life.
Yes, and the inflammatory process, like you said, is that when you look at it, it is implicated in almost every health problem that we have. Now, and that's a good point that you made. Stopping the inflammatory process, will it necessarily stop the disease? No, but you can decrease the severity. But when you say the trillions of cells, the inflammation process, when it gets chronic, is inflaming the cell wall, inflaming the blood vessels, all of those things. And that's what causes the problem, right? Because of the fact that it's inflaming every aspect of your body.
Each cell is able to experience pain, if you like. They all have what they call nociceptors. So there you go. There's our first word of the day. And those can be affected. Now, one of the things we need to talk about during this show is it seems to me, and I just wanted to show people, I got this,
the mountain of information,
in the last week. So
a lot to dig through.
Yes, but most of these articles want to sell you something, and they happen to have the product, but there's no product in these that will affect you as much as your diet.
Certainly.
So remember that again, people. All you people that love to drink your noni juice and goji and acai and all that's fine. I have nothing against that. But your alkalinized water. But there is no other thing that you can do that will affect you as much. I know there's genetics. I know,
certainly
all the other aspects. But just think of your pure caloric intake. Your food is mostly what you take in, and most of us are misguided. And again, there's formations. Again, if we want to go through the stages, Todd, everybody would be asleep in 5 minutes.
And let's don't do that.
I don't want to.
But ultimately, you're right. What we have to do is deal with the very foundation of what we do on a regular basis that affects not only our inflammatory process but our overall health, which is our diet. And these products, like you were talking about, do they help? To some degree. However, if you're eating ho-hos and ding-dongs, we can't help you here. There's just no way to do that. You must change your diet, and that's something that we'll talk about when we return from the break. Tom's going to go into a little bit more about that side of things, about how diet affects your inflammatory process. Inflammation is a terrible thing, folks. Hang on, we'll be back.